Ahoy, it's Rhino. Firefly Alibi asked me to talk about my experiences of working with him in this video testimonial I'm about to deliver to you. That got me thinking, what is the most relevant thing about him that I can describe to his prospective customers? Well, I'd have to say that would be his ears, and the speed at which his brain works when operating with auditory information. Firefly has an intuitive understanding of what works and what doesn't on a genre-by-genre basis. He was able to quickly classify a handful of riffs I wrote in an exploratory jam session by determining what genres they'd be popular at and what else would need to go in to make them perfectly balanced in the context of a song. I engaged his services on an amplifier and audio circuits research project of mine, wherein he had to evaluate several different amplifiers that I'd acquired. These range from fully tube-based small Class AB amplifiers to hybrid tube and solid-state amplifiers, to plugins, to solid-state amp-in-a-box pedals. He could dial in the exact tones he wanted, regardless of what gear I threw at him, and quickly identify their fundamental strengths and weaknesses, alongside uses that few would think about. For example, he was quick to identify the unique characteristics of a full-range Roland 10-inch speaker. I'd harvested it from a Cube 40XL that I'd installed into a Laney Cub 10 and explain where in a song he'd used it. We picked it for a whole lot of clean sections, by the way, if you're curious. But also where he'd rather have a much smaller, and some might say fizzier or shriller, orange PPC 108's a voice of the world driver. Dialing in tones, is something he does incredibly quickly, even with unfamiliar gear. In a session where he evaluated the famous Tech 21 Sansamp GT2, he was on top of all the numerous dip switches and their permutations. There was 3 of them, right? And each of them has 3 positions, plus the 4 control knobs in 15 minutes. The EQ of one of my bass amps, this was the Valaton Dapper bass, which had, volume gain and a 3-band EQ. It took him like 2 minutes to dial in the perfect punk rock bass tone. And right after that, about a minute to dial in an R&B tone on a different amp, an Ibanez Promethean 15, which had a 4-band EQ and no gain or distortion. So, on top of all of this, he's also extremely professional. He's punctual, he sends reminders before meetings, and he knows how to keep a project going by following up and checking in on you without it being either extremely overbearing or completely indifferent. Like, he knows just what to do. This video testimonial that I'm sharing with you, I had to, get it done at least 2 or 3 days ago. And I was a little bit late, but at no point while asking me if it's ready did he rush me, but he still communicated the intent very well. And he has extremely strong morals and lots of discipline. It is an honor to have worked with him, and it's a privilege to call him a friend. So if you ever get a chance to engage his services, please do. I highly recommend him.